All right, let's jump right in. I want you to consider something. Right here, right now, you are standing on the edge of a massive transformation. Why? Because everything, and I mean everything, you need to build the life you've been dreaming of is already inside you. And look, this isn't just some motivational fluff. This is about how your mind actually works, how it literally shapes the world around you. Just let that sink in for a second. You're not just watching the movie of your life. You're the director, the writer, the main character. Every thought, every decision, it's a signal you're sending out. So the big question is, how do we stop being a passive bystander, where life just kind of happens to us, and step into our power as the creator, making life happen for us? Well, the very first step is to recognize that there's a battle going on inside of us. All the time. It's this constant push and pull between two very different, very powerful voices. Think about it. There's one voice that's ancient. It's literally programmed for survival. It's loud, it's critical, and its only job is to keep you safe, which usually means keeping you small. But then there's another voice. This one is way quieter. It's more of a feeling, a nudge, a pull towards the person you're truly meant to become. So let's break it down. On one side, you've got the voice of fear. That's your loud, obnoxious inner critic. It's obsessed with your past mistakes and is constantly shouting about all the things that could go wrong in the future. It's the source of anxiety, of doubt. But on the other side, you have the voice of the soul. That's your intuition. It doesn't really speak in words, it speaks in energy. It's that quiet feeling in your gut, that little spark of excitement that pulls you toward your true path. So if we want to hear that quieter voice, that whisper from our soul, we have to deal with all the noise first. And honestly, there's this amazing metaphor that just perfectly explains what holds most of us back from doing that. Imagine this. You're walking around complaining all day. You've got this terrible headache, you're stressed out, there's all this pressure. But the whole time, there's a giant nail sticking right out of your forehead. And when a friend finally says, hey, why don't you just pull the nail out? You snap back, it's not about the nail. Sound a little familiar? We all do it. We walk around with these glaringly obvious problems, these nails, and we just refuse to deal with the real issue. So what do these nails look like in our lives? Well, they usually show up in one of four ways. It could be bad habits that are draining our energy, or maybe it's unresolved stuff from our past that we just haven't let go of. Sometimes it's the limiting rules or beliefs we've picked up about how the world works. And then, of course, there's the biggest, rustiest nail of them all, fear. Now, here's the thing you absolutely have to understand about fear. It's not real. It's just a story. It exists entirely in your imagination about a future that hasn't happened yet. The crazy part is, your brain can't tell the difference between a real danger and an imagined one. So when you're stressing about a presentation next week, your body is having the exact same fight or flight response as if a tiger just walked into the room. But here's the good news. Because fear is learned, it can be unlearned. Okay, so if fear is the big, noisy problem, what's the solution? How in the world do you find your direction when that voice is screaming at you to stay put? Well, you stop chasing some vague, intimidating idea like passion, and you start doing something much, much simpler. Here's the secret. Your soul, that quiet inner voice, it doesn't really use words. It uses energy. So instead of asking yourself this huge, terrifying question, what is my life's passion? Try asking a much smaller, better question. What gives me energy? Just notice. What people, what activities, what conversations make you feel alive and excited and lit up? That feeling, that's your internal compass. That's your soul pointing you in the right direction. And here's a super powerful exercise you can do right now to figure this out. Grab a pen and paper. Life number 1, that's the one you're living right now. Easy. Now, I want you to write down 8 other lives you would be genuinely excited to start living like tomorrow. No limits. A marine biologist, a DJ in Ibiza, an author living in a cabin, whatever. Don't censor yourself. Don't worry if it's practical. The point is to map out what truly lights you up. This is how you start to listen. All right. So once you know what gives you that energy, you can start to actively build that future. And this isn't about wishful thinking or just hoping for the best. Nope. This is about using the incredible power of your own mind to literally create a new reality. So how do you actually do that? How do you take your brain, which for the most part is just a record of your past, and turn it into a map for the future you really want? The answer is in this amazing technique, and it's backed by some really cool neuroscience. It's called mental rehearsal, and it's a total game changer. When you close your eyes and you vividly, repeatedly imagine the future you want, you see the details, you feel the emotions, your brain starts firing and wiring new neural pathways as if it's actually happening. You are literally installing the neurological software for your future self before you've even gotten there. This is the formula. This is the magic right here. A clear intention, knowing what you want. That's half the battle. But you have to combine it with an elevated emotion. You have to feel the gratitude, the joy, the freedom of that future now. When you do that, you're teaching your body chemically what that future feels like. You start living in that new reality before it even shows up. Okay, but let's be real, all the visualization in the world doesn't mean anything if you don't take action. Eventually, you have to open your eyes and take that scary step into the unknown. And this, right here, is where most people get stuck. But get this, here's a wild scientific fact. The actual chemical lifespan of an emotion, like that rush of fear you feel, it's only about 90 seconds. So why does it feel like it lasts for hours or even days? Because we keep it going. We replay the thought that caused the fear, and our brain kicks off another 90-second chemical rush. You're not stuck in one long feeling of fear. You're just hitting the restart button over and over. And that little fact shows us that we have it completely backward. We think we need to feel confident before we can take action. But that's not how it works. Confidence isn't something you have, it's something you earn. Confidence is the result of doing the scary thing. Every single time you act in spite of your fear, you are proving to yourself that you are bigger than it is. Which really brings us to a simple, powerful, and undeniable truth. The life you want, the success you want, the person you want to be. It's all waiting for you. It's just on the other side of that wall of discomfort we call fear. The only way there is to walk straight through it.
So, in the end, it all boils down to one simple choice. A choice you get to make in every single moment of every single day. You've got that loud, critical voice of fear doing its best to keep you safe and small. And you've got that quiet, steady voice of your soul, guiding you with energy towards everything you're meant to be. Which voice will you listen to? The choice and all the power is yours.